Okay, so we're going to look at discriminant. Now, what is this discriminant?
Discrimination. Yes.
So if you remember your formula, so for a quadratic equation of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, how do you find x? How do you find x?
Negative.
Okay, negative b plus minus.
Square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Okay, so what we want to do is actually to say, we're going to let this discriminant, we just use the capital letter D. Now there are some books who would like to use delta, alright, but anyway, doesn't really matter, to say this is b squared minus 4ac, alright? Okay, so we just want to say this discriminant, we named it as b squared minus 4ac, that's all, right? So again, so now if we're going to put it back into the formula, then we say x is now equal minus b plus minus square root of d over 2a, correct? Right? No big deal, right? So it's the same thing. Now then again, we would say, okay, how about if we want to evaluate that x a little bit more, so we're going to, this is actually a fraction, right? So we can write it as two different fractions, okay? So we say minus b over 2a plus or minus square root of d over 2a, correct? Right? So it is actually the same thing. So now then, how do we know, what can we tell about this root then? Remember, this x here, they are called the roots. Okay, so the roots of the quadratic equation. Alright? Okay? Alright? So then we say, how about we try and evaluate what d is? Okay? So generally we can actually put it into three different categories and say, if d equals to 0, what can you tell about the roots? So if d equals to 0, what can you tell? So what is x equal then? So it's just negative b over 2a, right? So whether you plus 0 or you minus 0, it is still the same thing, correct? But because it is quadratic, that's why you have a plus minus, that's why you always have two roots. But then, if d equals to 0, then these two roots are exactly the same, right? Because it is negative b over 2a plus 0 or negative b over 2a minus 0. So these two roots are the same, right? So we say, in this sense, then they are two real and equal roots. Okay? Right? So in this particular instance, if d equals 0, then the two roots are the same. The two roots of the quadratic equation are the same. Okay? Right? Because minus b over 2a, you will be able to find out what these roots are as well. So these roots are also real. Okay? So the second scenario is, so this is the first scenario. So the second scenario will say, if d is strictly greater than 0. So what is x equal then? Or rather, maybe you don't want to use that x. Is roots better?
It's more than 0.
We don't know. Okay? So the roots are minus b over 2a plus minus whatever that, or minus b over 2a. Sorry, it's not a plus minus, right? And then minus, right? So if you look at these two numbers, and for d to be greater than 0, these two numbers is certain. It is certain that these two numbers are different. Agree? Okay? So for example, if this whole thing on the right hand side, this whole thing on the right hand side, let's say it equals to 1 for something very simple. Let's say it equals to 1. Then you have minus b over 2a plus 1 or minus b over 2a minus 1. So these two roots are definitely different. They're definitely different, right? Okay? So in this sense, it is certain that the two roots are different. Okay? So we say in this instance then there will be two real, and so if it is different, we use the word distinct. Okay? So the roots are real, both of them are real, and they are distinct. They're different. Okay? So the two roots are different. So the third scenario, then we have when d is less than 0. There will be no real number. Why? Because it will be square root of negative number. Okay, whatever this is. Whatever number that is. Okay, so this number here, they are not real. Okay, because square root of negative 5, for example, if you key that in the calculator, it tells you math error. So it cannot be found. Okay, so in this sense, then we're saying that if d less than 0, then there will be no real roots. Okay, right? So just to summarize, so we say discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. There are three different scenarios that we want to look at. If d equal to 0, then we have two real and equal roots. If d is greater than 0, then we have two real and distinct roots. Or the third one, if d is less than 0, then we say there are no real roots for the quadratic equation. Okay? If you look at your sketch, so if you look at your sketch, number 1, it will be something like this. It only touched that one number. So the number 2, okay, then it will be this way. I'm only talking about minimum curve, huh? Okay, it will be this way, where it touches the x-axis at two different points. Okay, so if it is a third one, then it will be like this. Okay.